Karibu, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Juliet Kanyi. I represent the Australian Trade and Investment Commission as a Business Development Manager here in Kenya. Part of my role is to explain and promote Australian education and training globally. I want to thank IDP for the opportunity to talk with you today about two topics that are very close to my heart: Australia and the transformative role of education. It is my absolute pleasure to be here today to take you on a virtual journey of Australia and explain to you why I think Australia is a great place to study, learn, and live, and how that can open up a future where possibilities are limitless for you. Today, I'm here to inspire you and to equip you with information and resources that will support you to consider Australia for your future. I'm going to try and do this in about 25 minutes or so. I hope I can do Australia justice in the time I have today. I am proud of the education system and offering in Australia. I appreciate that some of you have some experience and knowledge of Australia through friends, family, or having watched a movie or a TV series. I will take you on a journey in four key parts. First, I want to go through some key basics so we all have the same understanding of Australia. Then, we will go through some of the key things I consider to be good reasons why you should consider Australia as part of your future. I will be taking you through the quality, diversity of options, employability, the environment, and the vision of Australia in regard to education. I would also like to touch on COVID-19, which is an issue we currently have at hand, and how Australia has responded to COVID to keep people safe and supported through the pandemic. Then I would like to give you a couple of options on how you can continue your journey with Australia after today. I will try and teach you a few new facts and figures about Australia that may surprise you along the way. So we can start on the virtual journey of Australia. Australia is proud to be home to almost 700,000 international students. They call Australia home or their second home. I think one of the things that really inspires me in my job is to change and to challenge some of the ideas that people have about Australia and to present a modern take on Australia. Yes, Australia is famous for the beautiful beaches, the outback, or the easygoing of the people, but there is much more to Australia than that. While Australia is relatively small in terms of population size, because currently we have a population of 25 million people, it is a large and big country. 5% of the world's land mass in the world is in Australia, and this makes it the world's largest island. In terms of the economy, Australia is the world's 14th largest economy and the 10th highest per capita in terms of per capita. 90% of our population live within 100 kilometers of the coastline. It is also a very multicultural country with more than 300 ancestries. Interesting enough, 20% of Australian population was born overseas. Don't you think that's interesting? We have a number of world-leading universities across our 6 states and 2 territories. There are 43 Australian universities in Australia. The University of Sydney is the oldest university, which was founded in 1850. We have a number of young universities which are less than 50 years old, who are also innovative and of great global ranking. 6 universities in the top 100 in the world are Australian. Australian universities have strong research capabilities and are engaged in cutting-edge research projects across a range of disciplines. Our universities have also established a number of strategic partnerships with universities and research institutions across the world. These allow for exchange programs for students and teachers as well as collaborative research. Admission to undergraduate programs require education equal to completion of Australian senior secondary school, which would be the equivalent of the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education or Year 13. Proficiency requirements is typically earns 6.0 or 6.5, although some specialist programs can be higher. For admission to postgraduate study, students need to have an equivalent of an Australian bachelor's degree, as well as meeting English proficiency requirements. Annual tuition fees vary between institutions and for different courses, with an average between $20,000 to $40,000 per year. So I think we now have a baseline. We will move on to the key factors that make Australia the place to create your future. Today, I'm going to take some time to talk through 5 key factors as you consider your international study experience. I'm going to drill down on quality, diversity, employability, environment, and visionary. When you're thinking about studying overseas, you are investing in you and investing in your future. Quality is a key consideration, and quality is at the heart of the learning experience. Australia is a top 3 destination for international students, and there is a solid reason for that. Australia is a world leader in international education. Our success has been built over 60 years, during which we have educated over 2.5 million international students with a track record. Quality is critical, and you can trust Australia to deliver quality. Australia's universities rank well internationally. I'd like to highlight 4 key rankings to give you a sense of the quality that underpins the Australian education experience. Based on the Times Higher Education World Rankings 2020, 49% in the top 300 are Australian universities. Based on the same Times Higher Education rankings of young universities, 54% of Australian universities are in the top 200. Another ranking that I will highlight is the QS World University rankings. 17% of Australian universities are in the top 100. Academic rankings of the world also ranked of the total of 56% of Australian universities are in the top 500. Some key disciplines where we excel internationally include arts and humanities, clinical, preclinical and health, engineering and technology, life sciences, physical sciences, social sciences. So, how has Australia kept the quality over many years? Delivery of quality education over many decades is as a result of the rigorous system of quality control and government accreditation. We have national systems of education qualifications in Australia that cover higher education, vocational education, and training and schools, and well as non-award programs. This system also applies to Australian qualifications delivered outside of Australia. Every education provider in Australia must successfully complete a demanding accreditation process to meet the standards required, so you can be sure that you will get a high standard of teaching wherever you choose to study. Just to demonstrate more about the quality of Australian education, 4 Australian universities have been ranked top 10 by the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings Assessment against the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. What this means is that these universities were identified as being world leading in providing critical research and solutions to help achieve the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Essentially, the UN roadmap for building a better world by 2030. Want to make a difference to the world? Think about these universities. Excellent education opportunities are available in every corner of the country. There are diverse courses. Whatever your interest, there is an option to suit you in Australia. The community is diverse as well, so you get opportunities to live, learn, and grow. Australia is diverse in terms of courses, options, landscape, and opportunities. Australia is a place of great opportunity where people from anywhere in the world can pursue their study and career ambitions in any field they choose. Australia extends all students an enormous choice of courses and locations with over 22,000 courses available, over 1,100 institutions, including 43 universities, almost 700 registered training organizations, over 100 English language colleges, and hundreds of primary and secondary schools. As the third most popular education destination in the world, you can study along with more than 500,000 other international students from 190 different countries, finding excellence across every discipline and at every level in Australia. Still with me? I have just demonstrated to you the quality of Australian education and the range of choices you have. Now, I would like to put a spotlight on employability and how an Australian education can support you to develop and achieve career success. Australian education fosters relationship between students, mentors, and industry leaders, helping students develop contacts and networks to kickstart their career. University of Sydney and University of Melbourne were in the top 10 QS employability ranking. 86% of undergraduates are employed within 4 months of graduating. 96.1% of postgraduate are also employed within the same duration. As mentioned before, that Australia has had the privilege to be part of over 2.5 million international student journeys over the last 60 years. We have many esteemed alumni who are some of the best ambassadors for Australian education. It will not be a complete Australian journey if I do not touch on the environment and what makes Australia a unique, safe, welcoming, and inclusive place to live, study, and work. It's something that sets us apart from many other locations. It is not just my opinion. Australia is a very livable destination. In 2019, the Global Livability Index had three cities in the top 10, which are Australian. This is Melbourne, Sydney, and Adelaide. It is not just the economists that think Australia is a great place to live. The QS Best Student Cities in the World has seven Australian cities in the top 100 destinations, which are Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Canberra, Adelaide, Perth, and the Gold Coast. So, why is Australia at the top of these lists? Renowned for its natural beauty, clean environment, mild weather, high standards of living, and safety, Australia trumps most other countries when it comes to livability. Australian authorities protect the environment. We have strict laws that ensure very low levels of pollution. It has some of the lowest crime rates in the world and a unique mix of thriving cities, vast open spaces, and a sunny climate, offering a real sense of security and freedom not always found in other parts of the world. International students consistently choose Australia for its reputation as a safe place to live. In the recent Safe Cities Index, major cities like Sydney and Melbourne were ranked in the top 10 safest cities in the world, which notably did not include any US or UK cities. As much as I can talk through Australia as a great place to live, study, and work, one area that I am proud of is a visionary story and how Australian universities have beneath the heart of making the world a better place. Australia's visionary impact is underpinned by world class research and a culture of innovation. Australia is not just a safe and friendly place to be, it's a place for ideas and impact. Australia has an extraordinary history of groundbreaking invention and innovation. I'm sure some of you may not know who invented some of these, such as our wireless internet, something that we cannot live without. Its contribution to the world through developments like Wi Fi, penicillin, the cochlear implant, which has been quite impactful, helping more than 50,000 people in 80 countries hear again. One thing that I want you to take away from this slide, every time you see the Wi Fi logo, think of Australia. Our visionary approach will put you at the forefront of your chosen field. This culture of innovation is tied to a robust education system underpinned by world class research, which has been boosted by over $35 billion in government funding over the past decade. The Excellence in Research Australia ranking confirmed that every one of Australia's universities is world standard or above in at least one sphere of research. More than 80% of Australian research publications are co authored with researchers in other countries, making Australia the third most internationally collaborative country in the world. Research and development is not restricted to universities, but it is also increasingly embedded in vocational training too, leading to innovative thinking, new teaching practices, and more creative graduates with an increasing focus on applied research. Australia, for its small population, has produced a remarkable number of Nobel Prize winners across science, medicine, physiology and medicine, literature, chemistry, and economics. With 16 Nobel Prize winners, Australia is recognized both as visionary, successful. Students benefit from an education environment which values the pursuit of excellence, collaboration, academic inquiry, and impact, helping them to acquire skills at the forefront of their field. I will want to leave it there regarding the Australian education and the virtual journey through the Australian education. I thought it might be helpful to give you a sense of how Australia has responded to COVID 19. Australia is home to 700 international students, as I mentioned earlier. They are our friends, colleagues, classmates, and importantly, members of the Australian community. At the beginning of the COVID 19 pandemic, Australia took some strong decisions and strong actions to keep people safe. These included closing the borders for inbound and outbound travel and employing some strict quarantine measures to keep the community safe. Australia has a world class health system with a population of 25 million. Our health emergency response are flexible and scalable and have been able to respond very effectively to the evolving COVID pandemic. The Australian Department of Health began monitoring the situation in early January, and activated emergency response plans and national coordination systems. The community worked together to keep each other safe. Over 6 million people have downloaded the COVID Safe app to help with that. The overall cases reflect the strong action Australia took to keep people safe, with the most recent cases being reported as 18, that is as of 10th October. We have strong plans to help us in the coming weeks and months. The Prime Minister presented a three-phased plan that will help and guide us on how things can resume, but with the overall purpose of keeping people safe. For those of you who know Australia or Australians, there is a national ethos we have about helping mates. Friends help friends. And it's reflected in the way that we are all in this together. The support for students has been at the central part of this, with everyone working hard to support students, including the Commonwealth Government, the state and territory governments, offering a range of practical support packages to students, and the communities coming together to support at the grassroots level. Our universities are also an important part of the sum of the parts. Early on in the as COVID came in, they were quickly able to pivot onto online delivery of classes, to switch from face-to-face learning and move on to virtual learning. Every university has developed support packages for their students and have really been at the forefront of providing practical support to students during COVID. There has been more than $145 million dollars in support provided to students from universities. Each university has developed a package. Here are just a highlight of some of the packages that are there. Many universities and other education providers are also offering a range of support to students, including fee deferrals, deferred studies or payments, accommodation support, and mental health and other medical support. For information, for further information on this, please check out studyinaustralia.gov.au, and you will see more information regarding some support packages that are being updated on a regular basis. A key priority for Australia is to make sure, as best as we can, that our international students have access to support. We understand that the pandemic is challenging. So, a lot of government work of my agency is to ensure that students know what support they can get locally and nationally. We do that through our Study in Australia website. My presentation is coming to an end, but you can continue your journey and research on what makes Australia a great place to study. On the Study in Australia website, you can find out more about why Australia, the facts and the reasons to study in Australia, information about our education system, life in Australia, how to apply to come and study in Australia. For information on the destination and each of the, you could also get information on the territories. You'll also get the opportunity to find courses and institutions and scholarships that may be available for you. It really has been my pleasure to take you through today on why I think you should consider Australia as part of your future. I hope that you now have a better understanding of the quality of education in Australia as demonstrated and recognized by international bodies, the diversity and the range of learning options across our large island, and the 43 higher education institutions, employability, which I know is critical for you, and where the Australian education can take you, the environment as recognized internationally with some of the best locations in the world, visionary, and the impact that Australia has had across the globe as much as it's a very small country in terms of population. I hope through this presentation, I have demonstrated to you how our education system can be your springboard to higher and bigger things. I take this opportunity to thank IDP once more for this opportunity to interact with you, and we look forward to having you in Australia. Thank you.